this MIAA South Sectional Soccer Semifinal game. Participating student athletes, coaches, and contest officials have worked diligently to prepare for today's competition. Please show your appreciation by demonstrating good sportsmanship and respect for all in attendance. Ensure that your behavior reflects the values that should be identified with these student athletes. Assume responsibility for your behavior and the behavior of those around you. If you require assistance, please call upon an MIAA, school, or security official. Any verbal, written, or physical conduct related to race, gender, ethnicity, disability, sexual orientation, or religion shall not be tolerated, which subject the violator to ejection. It may result in penalties being assessed against your team. Our great nation has preserved through the leadership and sacrifices of men and women who have served or are currently serving in our armed forces. We invite both veterans and current military personnel to stand. We thank you for your service to our country. And now, to introduce our teams for this evening. From Brockton, boxers. Number 0, Seth Anderson. Number 00, Fabio Barboza. Number 2, Leonardo De Barros. Number 3, Justin Roballo. Number 4, Paulo Montero Romalo. Number 5, Luis Spinola. Number 6, Felipe Pinto. Number 7, Estevan Gomes. Number 8, Derek Brito. Number 9, Tyleson Gomes. Number 10, Edson Lopes. Number 11, Leonardo Teixeira. Number 12, Kevin Dias. Number 13, Jalen DeRosa. Number 14, Marvin Mocha. Number 15, Caio Vieira. Number 16, Joe Arsenault. Number 17, Lucas Fernandez. Number 18, Marvin Duray. Number 19, Justin Fonseca. Number 20, Eric Brito. Number 21, Luisandro Andrade. Number 22, Keon Andrade. Number 23, Cleve Honor. Number 24, Junior Xavier. And number 25, Hamilton Xavier. The head coach is Herminio Furtado. And for the home team this evening, from BC High, it's going to be number 1, Max Loeb. Number 2, Griffin Morrow. Number 3, Brendan Kennedy. Number 4, Jack Linehan. Number 6, Tomas Trejo. Number 7, Osa Owens. Number 8, Anthony Lee. Number 9, Gabe Cachet. Number 10, Shamar Rainford. Number 12, Peyton Collins. Number 15, Jack Studley. Number 16, Osachi Bulero. Number 17, Giacomo Carlupi. Number 18, Matt Haraki. Number 19, Anatoly Peruzic. Number 20, Luke Reed. Number 21, John Dolbeck. Number 22, Malcolm Flaherty. Number 23, Max Galliboy. Number 24, Cole Barotny Ash. 25, Dylan Cuozo. Number 26, Evan McCarthy. Number 27, Donald Lee. Number 28, Aiden Green. Number 29, Tommy Rice. Number 30, Sam Wolf. Number 31, Matt Byrne. Number 0, Luca Pasami. Number 00, Cooper Robards. Number 99, Gus Levin. BC High is coached by Bill Ryan and Joe Parrish. Now we invite all to stand for our national anthem.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls, soccer fans of all ages, this is Plymouth North High School, home of the Blue Eagles, but today it is host of the South Sectional MIAA South Sectional Semi-Final. That's a mouthful. Between the BC High Eagles and your Brockton Boxers. As always, I'm Mad Dog Matt Nelson, bringing you all the action high atop the turf here in Plymouth, Massachusetts, on what could turn into a very chilly night. Kickoff for this game slated for around 7:30 p.m. on Thursday night. Was supposed to start at 7, but the prior game went into double overtime thanks to our cameraman, the Greek freak, Phil Philippidis, for that call. I've been told it's a balmy 42 degrees in Plymouth. So it's the 11th-seeded Boxers versus the 10th-seeded BC High Eagles for the right to play at Hingham High School in the South Sectional Final. Quite the difference from last year when Brockton came in with just one loss on the year, had the top seed in the South Section, ran the table in the playoffs, won the state championship. Well, this year they're 9-6-3. So I talked to Coach Herminio Furtado prior to the upcoming kickoff and said, what is the strategy when one year you go 19-1 and you're undefeated and you're scoring 6, 7, 8 goals a game, and this year where you haven't put up 3 in the playoffs and you've got a lot of work to do defensively? And he said they understand they're not going to put up 5 goals. They're not going to win by simply outscoring everybody else like they did last year. The strategy is hold back on defense a little bit, get the 1 or 2 goals that they're going to get, and rely heavily on Seth Anderson, who has had a phenomenal end of the regular season and first couple of games of the South Sectional playoffs. He starts in net tonight for the Boxers. On the other side, it is number 00, I believe, for the BC High Eagles. It is Cooper Robards, the junior keeper. 4 goalies listed on this roster for the Eagles, so we'll see if there's any kind of shift during the game. We've seen that a lot when there's a lot of seniors that need playing time in the playoffs. One half here, one half there, but with 4 on the roster, it'll be interesting to see if they kind of play quarters to a point. So Brockton coming off an interesting game, a 1-0 win over New Bedford, and then a 3-0 win over Mansfield. 2-0 in New Bedford. I believe both of those goals were scored by Leonardo Teixeira. But that game was on a natural grass surface, and no goals allowed in the postseason to this point for Brockton and Seth Anderson. Brockton has opening possession, Leonardo Teixeira at the center dot. So Paul Bronco, the assistant coach of the Brockton Boxers, said he thinks that field was in New Bedford was a little bit wetter than normal, alleging some gamesmanship by the Whalers, wetting half the field. But Brockton not used to playing on the natural grass surface. They came out victorious anyhow, and now Paulo Romalo over the top looking for Teixeira, broken up by the Eagles. Brockton High, as the lower seed, is the away team. They are wearing their visiting white jerseys, red trim around the black numbers. BC High in their home maroon reds with gold trim around the white numbers. Here's Leonardo Teixeira. To the outside, that's Luis Spinola. His shot, Spinola off the post, and it's headed in, and Brockton scores a short minute into this game, and they're up early. Luis Spinola on the assist. Not sure who headed it into the net, but Brockton plays better when they're ahead, and they set the tone early in this one, 55 seconds in. can't ask for a better start than that if you're the Brockton Boxers.
Brockton goal scored by number 10, Edson Lopes.
Goal scored by number 10, Edson Lopes, assisted by Luis Spinola, who sent that initial cross into the box. So BC High, for those not familiar, is located in Dorchester, Massachusetts. Brockton, of course, on the South Shore. The MIAA decided the neutral site for this game would be not convenient to everybody as BC High heads this one up and over the net. Plymouth, which is approximately 50 miles from Dorchester. I think it's close to 35 from Brockton. Of all the towns in between Dorchester and Brockton, Quincy, Milton, Randolph, Canton, nobody's got a soccer field that is suitable for this South Sectional semifinal except for Plymouth. And here we are with Brockton of early. Here's a long shot headed out by Paolo Romalo. Now it's Spinola. Luis Spinola with a lot of room to work with, sending it back towards the middle of the field. BC High takes over, but a misread pass, and Osa Owens lets it fall out of bounds. We are looking at the yellow lines on the field. There are a lot of different sport markings. We're going by the yellow lines tonight, which is a lot different than what Brockton's normally used to because theirs are red, and the red on this field is field hockey. Romalo in for Lopes. Now over to number 7. That is Estevan Gomes. His pass picked off by BC High. Jalen DeRosa, one of the co-captains, back to number 24, Junior Xavier. Four minutes into this one, just about. Brockton up 1-0, scoring 55 seconds in. It was Edson Lopes from Luis Spinola. Little bit of a sea breeze coming in from the wharf, and here's an opportunity. It's going to be offsides against the Boxers. Free kick for the Eagles from the 15-ish yard line of the football markings.
Let's go, Eagles!
That sea breeze coming north to south across the field. Right into our field of view. BC High now with an opportunity, broken up. And a Boxer hit the turf. Free kick for the Boxers.
Hey, Brockton is here.
BC High heading it down just outside of midfield. Brockton taking over. That's DeRosa in the middle of the field. He can't do anything with it, and Brockton's going to get whistled for a handball here, called against number 7, Estevan Gomes. Free kick right at the center dot for the Eagles. Number 3 sending it in. Is headed the wrong direction, but still loose. That was Brendan Kennedy on the free kick. Now it'll be a free kick for the Boxers from their 30-yard line, and there is a Boxer down. It is Gomes. Long kick, complete to DeRosa, outside for Spinola. Spinola sending it long and looking for Texera, who is behind the defense, broken up by the back line of the Eagles. Now it's Spinola again. Louis Spinola doing it all tonight for the Boxers, and now he earns a corner kick for Brockton. Louis Spinola making an early case for MVP of the game, assisting on the first goal and earning the corner kick for Brockton. This will be taken by Edson Lopes, curving it outwards back towards midfield, looking for the head of Esteban Gomes or Leonardo Teixeira. The kick, low. And two Boxers whiff on one-timers as it goes all the way through. Still in play. That was almost on the clay track on the far side, but it never made its way out of bounds. Things have settled down a little bit since that opening goal 55 seconds in. The referees had to ask Brockton to supply a couple of game balls because the one they had been using, while it is regulation, has been used here at Plymouth South all day. And they said the cold had started to get to it, and that ball was hard as a rock. I felt it on the sideline. They'd used the one ball all day without bringing it in. And there's our scientific friends, and anyone who's not the NFL central office knows when a ball is in the cold for extended periods of time, A, the air molecules come out of it, and B, the ball gets harder. So Brockton had brought a couple of warm-up balls that they'd been using all season. The ref said these look good to us. So this game is being played with one of Brockton's balls, as BC High kicks it into their own bench, throwing on the far side for the Boxers. We're about 10 minutes into the first half here. BC High yet to register a shot on net. They do have one shot that was headed up and over the top of the net, does not count as a shot on net. Winner of this game has 4 days off to see what the future holds for them. They face the winner of Silver Lake versus Wellesley. That game is this coming Saturday at noon. Here's Leonardo Teixeira, his shot, and a diving stop by Robard. Silver Lake, one of the teams that Brockton defeated en route to the state championship last year. free kick for the Eagles from about their 30-yard line. Teixeira heads it out. And now it's Gomes. Esteban Gomes from room in the middle of the field. He gets edged off the ball by one of BC High's midfielders. Now it's Junior Xavier sending it out of play. Xavier heading it, looking for Lopes, doesn't connect. Now it's Teixeira. Self pass, makes his defender fall and miss. BC High sends it out. Spinola will throw it in. Scratch that, it'll be Jalen DeRosa. Ramallo whiffs on the long pass attempt. Now it's sent to the middle, Leonardo Teixeira. Teixeira to the outside, looking for DeRosa. DeRosa back into the middle for Lopes as DeRosa goes down a little bit ginger to get up. Junior Xavier. Now Spinola, one-touch passing for the Boxers. DeRosa in the middle of the field, back for Gomes. Esteban Gomes trying to stutter step and create some space, so now on the far side. BC High takes over the pass that didn't have quite enough mustard on it to get through to Leonardo, and now Brockton takes it back. A long shot is wide. Goal kick for the Eagles. Push-off called against Paulo Ramallo. Free kick for BC just inside midfield. The 49.5-yard line. It will be taken by number 3, Brendan Kennedy. Kennedy far, and BC with an opportunity here. It falls, and Brockton clears it out. Leonardo Teixeira with a lot of room, turning on the Jets. Teixeira popping it up, looking for Spinola. The BC High goalie grabs it. And it'll be a free kick for the Eagles. I think the ref claimed offsides right outside the goalie's box. Kennedy whiffs on the header attempt, and now it's Osa Owens. Long in is headed, and it goes wide. It'll be a throw in for Brockton with 23.5 minutes to go here in the first half, unofficial time. The score is 1-0 Boxers after the goal by Edson Lopes from Luis Spinola 55 seconds in. It has cooled off literally and figuratively since then, with a sea breeze coming across the field. A balmy 42 degrees and breezy here in Plymouth. I've been advised to count my blessings because it's not snowing. DeRosa to Spinola, his cross. Brockton thought that went out of bounds. A shot is over the crossbar. Brockton stepping up their offensive pressure. If you say the O word again, I'm throwing you off the roof. Push against BC High, free kick Brockton. BC yet to register a shot on net. And we're gonna have a soft whistle against Paulo Ramallo. That was about as undirty of a step as I've ever seen. And from 25 yards away, the referee, excuse me. Here's a shot on net for BC, picked up by Seth Anderson. I think that technically counts as a pass because it hit one of the boxers en route to the net. So BC has yet to register a shot on goal. That being said, Brockton's only got one shot on goal, and it found the back of the net. There's Spinola. Spinola, a little stutter start. Now he loses it. Gomes in the middle, taken off his foot by the Eagles. And here's BC High, but that pass had a little bit too much on it. Up and down the turf they go. Now here's an opportunity for BC High. It's 3-on-1. The shot is going to go high and wide in a wasted opportunity for the Eagles, as halfway through the first half have yet to register a shot on net. Goal kick for the Boxers. Outside to Spinola, one touch back inside for DeRosa. DeRosa to Gomes. Gomes up for Arsenal. And a little bit too much on it, looking for Teixeira. That was Gomes on the attempted pass. Stifling defense by the Boxers. 3-on-1, bunching around the ball, and they come away with another one here before BC High takes it back. 18.5 to go in the first half. It remains 1-0 for the Boxers. The winner will play Silver Lake. The winner of Silver Lake versus Wellesley. Silver Lake undefeated on the year. Coming off with just a little bit of animosity towards the Boxers after the 4-1 defeat in last year's postseason. There's a throw-in for the Eagles. Jack Linehan, the senior captain, will take it. He sends it back. Now BC High, a lot of room to work with. Their shot is not really a shot and didn't find anybody except a couple of Brockton Boxers. Now here's the Eagles, and their shot goes wide. Number 19, Anatoly Bereziuk. Winner of this game plays in the South Sectional Final Monday night at Hingham High School. Of course, the winner of that goes on to the state tournament. 2 potential games there. The state semifinal, where they would face the winner of the Northern Division, and then a potential state final against either the East or the West winner. Last year it was South versus West, as Longmeadow made it to the final over Marlborough. Marlborough was Brockton's first loss on this season. In their first regular season matchup ever, Marlborough took it to the Boxers. When asked why that game popped up on the schedule, they said they made the state tournament last year. We want to play the teams that are going to make it because we want to be able to face them again. That and the not so newly named athletic director of Brockton High, Kevin Cairo, decided he likes putting kids on a bus for an hour and a half to Marlborough. There's a whistle, and a ref is going to go over to Luis Spinola. Free kick from 40 yards out from net for the Eagles. It will be taken by Brendan Kennedy, the senior midfielder. Sending it directly in, got some good curve on it, punched out by Seth Anderson, and it's going to be a corner kick for the Eagles. Their first of the game, as BC High finally with a little bit of offensive momentum. It is Kennedy on the far side. Low kick, Linehan can't corral it, and it's out of play off of Brockton. BC High looking for the quick restart. Now they slow it down. Linehan gearing up for a very long throw, and he's halfway on the track. Finds the head of Teixeira, who attempted the fancy bicycle kick-esque move. Out of play, we'll try it again. A long shot, it could be trouble. And BC High scores as Seth Anderson got tangled up. And Anderson standing there like, what do you want me to do? There were 3 Eagles draped all over him. But we're all knotted up with 14 minutes to go in the first half. A pile of BC High Eagles were on top of Seth Anderson, and Anderson is more than a little miffed in net, as he should be.
goal scored by number 19, Anatoly Beruzik.
Anatoly Bereziak on the BC High goal to knot things up at 1 apiece here in the first half. And that is the first goal allowed in the South Sectional tournament for the Brockton Boxers. As much as it should have been whistled down for 3 people assaulting Seth Anderson in the Boxers' net. That's a textbook definition of offsides and goalie interference right there. Paulo Romalo to put it in play for the Boxers. Illegal procedure on the Boxers, 5-yard penalty, replay first down. Junior Xavier has to bicycle it out. Brockton's defense breaking down a little bit here the last couple of minutes. The ref's starting to let the boys play a little bit. Xavier through the middle looking for Teixeira. Teixeira, great self pass, a little bit too much on it. BC High takes over on downs. Junior Xavier applying pressure on Shamar Rainford. As a testament to how unfair it is having Catholic Conference schools compete in a public division. Hold that thought till after the BC High opportunity. So Brockton's got to get it onto the turf and out. And they do just that. So it's a good testament. Right behind the field here, BC High's bus just pulled up so the kids could sit in there during halftime, and it's a coach bus. They came from Dorchester to Plymouth, which is not a very far ride, on a coach bus. And Brockton traveled, I think, a further distance in a school bus. Free kick for the Eagles, 10:45 to go. This one gets through, Anderson picks it up. So Brockton's on the upset tour of 2018 as the 11th seed in this tournament, defeating the number 6 seed New Bedford Whalers and the number 3 seed Minnesfield Hornets. If they come out victorious tonight, it would technically be an upset because they beat a higher seed, even though it's only a 10 versus 11. And you're looking at the MVP of last season's playoff run with the ball, Leonardo Teixeira. And every time we see number 11 play, it's a testament to one of those feel-good stories. Came over about 4 weeks before last season started from Cape Verde, didn't speak one word of English. Had a phenomenal year, put up 20 goals and a hat trick in the state final. And we interviewed him after that state final via translator. When asked about his performance, he said, "I just like to play." He just wants to get out there and run around on a pitch for a couple hours, enjoying the camaraderie of his teammates. Very humble kid. Eight minutes to go, and he's got a heck of a scoring touch. Here's Luis Spinola, whose opportunity is broken up. And now they're going to call Spinola for something that they just said was a fair play. Not even 10 seconds before that. The name of the game is consistency, folks. These refs have yet to be consistent in the way they are calling this game. They're going to say a handball against Brockton or just out of bounds on throw-in for the Eagles. Long throw into the box and it bounces out. A goal kick for the Boxers. May notice there are 3 officials on the field. That is different from the regular season in which there are only 2. Sometimes it's an advantage, sometimes it's a disadvantage. Refer to last season's state semifinal against St. John's for the advantage part of that, where Brockton was awarded a penalty kick rather, with under 2 minutes to go in the state semifinal, and Jonathan Rodriguez put it home for the win. Corner kick for the Eagles, their first of the night from this side of the field. They will be curving it inwards towards net with 6:09 to go in the first half. It's going to be Linehan taking it. A high kick is going to be whistled dead by the officials, and over the back jump called on BC High, so free kick for the Boxers. Approaching 5 minutes left in the first half, all knotted up at 1 goal apiece in the semifinal round of the MIAA South Sectional Tournament. It's the 11th seeded Boxers and the 10th seeded Eagles going at it at Plymouth North High School. Home of the Eagles. A couple of years ago we were on the other side of town at Plymouth South for a Lady Boxers first round matchup against the Panthers of Plymouth South. Anderson coming all the way out to pick this one up. The BC High crowd thought that Anderson was out of the goalie box, not realizing he was well within the yellow lines. They're looking at the black lines or red lines for that call. It's a very impressive campus here at Plymouth North. Should you guys ever find yourself in the area. Brockton's offense is being led by Luis Spinola, who is playing very frustrated. He's the right winger. Number 5 standing around the 50-yard line, pacing back and forth as the Boxers try to get something going offensively. They had an incredible start to this game, scoring a short 55 seconds in. You know, Spinola assisting on that goal. But since then, not a lot of great opportunities for the Boxers. Now the Boxers clearing it into their own bench. A throw in for the Eagles with 3 minutes and some change left in the first half. Long, deep throw. It could be trouble. It's headed up a couple of times. Yet to get onto the turf. Brockton clears it out at least momentarily. Can BC High get an opportunity out of it? No. But if Brockton hurries, they could have men up turf. And here is Jalen DeRosa with some room to run. DeRosa stutter stepping. Going over and under. Jalen DeRosa trying to get it through to Spinola, and it's broken up by the Eagles. Junior Xavier takes a hard fall. Texera playing a little bit of midfield now. Very back and forth the last couple of minutes. Steven Gomes to Jalen DeRosa. DeRosa's had it on the line, and they're going to say it was out of play. Quick reminder to the officials that the ball has to clearly be 100% over that line to be whistled out of bounds.
Just a reminder, the official time is being kept on the field.
2 minutes to go in the half. Official time kept on the field by the guys wearing stripes. We'll do our best to gauge. One would think a decent amount of stoppage time, as we had a Boxer down early for about a minute or so, and a couple of goals.
Come on, Eagles!
There's an opportunity on the far side. It is broken up. It was Edson Lopes. It's about a minute to go here in the first half. The Mad Dog weather team delivering the good news of the night, and I quote, "The wind has settled down a bit." This is going to be a goal kick for the Eagles, and yet another blown call for the officials. That's a PK if I've ever seen one. Dragged down in the box was Teixeira. And now magically the half comes to an end. It is 1-1. The 11th seeded Boxers, the 10th seeded Eagles going at it for the right to play in the South Sectional Final. We're all knotted up at 1. We're going to take a quick break and bring you second half action right after this.
Ooh.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework.
He
I hate homework. It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you.
You could be the teacher I never forget.
That would be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, soccer fans of all ages, welcome back into Plymouth North High School, the neutral site of the MIAA South Sectional semifinal between the 11th-seeded Brockton Boxers and the 10th-seeded BC High Eagles. Once again, I'm Mad Dog Matt Nelson, bringing you all the action high atop the turf here in beautiful Plymouth, which happens to be a little bit cold this evening and a little bit breezy. A sea breeze coming across the field from the benches to the bleachers. Ran into a police officer at halftime and said, "Have you been out here all day?" He said, "Well, all night, but yes." And I said, "And you're not frozen yet? Have you lost any fingers?" And he said, "No, the cold builds character." If you are just joining us, the score is all knotted up at 1 goal apiece, as much as Brockton should be up 1-0. The BC High goal came with 3 players draped all over Seth Anderson. And the referees have been horribly inconsistent in the way they are calling this game, all 3 officials. Edson Lopes pushed from behind, no call. To the outside for Joel Arsenault. His cross, looking for Teixeira. And BC High clears it out. Brockton scored 55 seconds in. And here is an opportunity for the Eagles. It's Osa Owens on the far side, broken up by Paulo Ramallo, but still loose. And able to backheel it. I believe that was Ramallo. And a boxer goes down. That was Arsenault. And again, no whistle. A trip is a trip is a trip. You're going to call it one way, you got to call it the other. Here's Teixeira looking for Lopes, a little bit too much on it. BC High back towards midfield. Now Junior Xavier taken down from behind. No call. I mean, the third ref is supposed to add accountability and make it a much cleaner game. This has been the opposite of that. Now we have a discussion of the officials, and it's going to be a Brockton throw-in. Arsenault misplays it. Headed down by Leandro Barros, fresh into the game. Arsenault, one touch over to Edson Lopes. Lopes to the far side for Spinola. Spinola assisting on that first goal. Has been very frustrated since. Now to the outside for Arsenault. Joel Arsenault. He's got to fire it. He does, into one of the BC defenders' feet. And now it's Leandro Barros stepping up. The defenseman ripped down from behind, and again, no whistle. But a throw-in for the Boxers. Leonardo Teixeira. His shot goes about 2 feet wide, but it's going to be a corner kick because it went off one of the Eagles. Jalen DeRosa from the far side, sending it outwards back towards midfield. Punched out by Rollard. And all the way back at midfield. This is number 14 for the Boxers. That is Marvin Mocha. Estevan Gomes bumped into. They called that a push against Brockton in the first half. This one's going to be a corner kick for the Boxers. Excellently played on the far side by Lopes. So now it's DeRosa. Punched out by Robard. A whistle, a stoppage. It's another call in favor of the Eagles. Horribly inconsistent in the way they call this game are the three officials. Barros. Two touch to Gomes. It finds its way back to Jalen DeRosa. Now Gomes sending it long, looking for Teixeira, who is hugged from behind. Now Gomes, good move to get it up to Arsenal. And BC High takes over in the middle of the field. A slide by Junior Xavier, and BC High sends it back up high over the top. And it is sent out off of Brockton. 32 minutes to go in regulation. Throw-in taken by Linehan, the senior captain. A deep throw. Headed up, loose, and Anderson grabs it in midair.
Keep it up, boys! Keep it up, Eagles!
Breeze picking up a little bit as we get later into the night. Good news, the temperature has dropped a full degree. It is now 41 degrees. Good thing we're at a neutral site that has absolutely nothing to do with either of these two schools. And our friends at the MIAA couldn't pick like Quincy or Milton or any other countless communities between Dorchester and Brockton. Anderson grabs this one again, and he will send it off back towards midfield. The only BC High goal came unassisted off of the foot of Anatoly Baraziak. And here's Lopes, his cross for Teixeira doesn't connect. BC High kicking over their heads back towards the 50. And now deflected off of Gomes. Teixeira picks it up. Teixeira trying to create space, something he is phenomenally talented at doing. His cross is picked off on the ground by Robards. Yet another call against Brockton. Free kick from about 55-ish yards out from net. A chip shot is cleared out immediately by Brockton. Spinola grounds it. Now Brockton with an opportunity for Arsenault. Joel Arsenault has it taken off his feet by the Eagles' back line, and they clear it back across midfield. I'm not going to say that wasn't worthy of a call on Marvin Mocha, but if you're going to call it both ways. Brockton's players are pleading their case that that wasn't a penalty. That was a penalty, but again, be consistent about how you call it. Offsides against the Eagles. A little bit of poetic justice as that one was destined for the back of the net. Here's Spinola working in the middle. His shot, a rocket, is initially bobbled by Robards, but he's able to hang on. Now Spinola grabs it again. He's taken down, and finally a call for the Boxers. The free kick will come 35 yards out from net at a very good angle. BC's wall standing 10 yards beyond the ball as per rule. And now behind the play is Mocha begging the officials for a call on number 10, Shamar Rainford. Mocha was down on the ground, but he might have been attempting to bleed a call out of the refs. Now the official is going to call them both over and say, hey, we're all friends here. I want you to shake hands. There it is. And let's be very cordial about this game. It is too cold for any of those shenanigans. So Mocha and Rainford something to look at the rest of the game. Free kick 35 yards out. Goes short and low. A missed kick by, was that Lopes? Now Spinola grabbing it. Louis Spinola with a little bit of room to fire off a shot. He does, and it's a couple of feet over the crossbar. Louis Spinola with the two best opportunities since the Boxers scored about a minute in. Another call against BC High. Could it be the refs are starting the makeup call game? This one will be about 32 yards out from net. Almost dead on for Edson Lopes. Lopes' shot is not even going to have a chance.
Eagles, let's go! You got this!
25 minutes to go in regulation. For those wondering what the rules are, the O word is not to be mentioned ever until we get to that point in the game. Because when it is, that happens, and sometimes double that happens, as evidenced by the late start in this game. This one headed out by the Eagles. Goal kick for Brockton. Should we get to that point, it would be a 10-minute sudden victory, because we have to be politically correct in saying sudden death offends some people. So it's a 10-minute sudden victory if nobody scores in that. There's a second 10-minute sudden victory, which is precisely why you don't use the O word to begin with. And after that, it would go to penalty kicks. 5 rounds as BC High chips this one in. Headed out by the Boxers, loose in the corner, and BC High is going to get a corner kick out of it. 5 rounds, home team decides whether they want to shoot first or second. Here in this case would be BC High. The breeze picking up quite heartily here in beautiful Plymouth, Massachusetts. Another whistle and another call, and a free kick for the Boxers.
Okay, Eagles!
For those of you who aren't familiar where Plymouth is located on a map, here's a shot that's going to go wide by about 20 feet. Plymouth is an excellent spot to hang out during the summer. You got Plymouth Plantation, miles and miles of beaches, huge 4th of July party. In mid-November, not so much.
Come on, Eagles!
I'm sure BC High could have taken a ferry here if they really wanted to. Probably would have beat the traffic rush on 93 trying to get out of the city today. That's going to be a handball against Rainford. Or rather, it's Berziak. Winner of this game faces either Silver Lake or Wellesley in the South Sectional Final on Monday at Hingham High School. If the Boxers should come out the victors tonight, we'll have it for you on Brockton Community Access. Boxer throw-in. The Boxers trying to defend their crown from last year, the reigning defending Division I state champions. Led by that man, Leonardo Teixeira, who put up a hat trick in the state final. Barrows sending it back to Anderson, the wind killing it. So it finally gets back to Anderson. He sends it back towards midfield and Leonardo Teixeira. Now the far side for Edson Lopes. Lopes, the only Boxer goal scorer tonight. Now Spinola running into a couple of Eagles. Now it's Joel Arsenal. Estevan Gomes looking for Spinola in double coverage. The pass falls incomplete. And for those keeping score at home, it is now 40 degrees. With a wind chill factor, it feels about 34. Corner kick for the Boxers. As you can see on the far side, the Boxers bench going for a run to try to stay warm. Short kick as Brockton tries to cut the angle. They do, and the shot is wide to the left. That was DeRosa that launched the final shot.
Go Eagles!
Long clearing attempt for Brockton. Out of play. Linehan throwing it in. Across the 50. Barrows stepping on the ball. That's clean. Leandro Barrows stepping on the ball and falling over it. He looks a little bit hurt. That is the definition of rolling your ankle. But holding his left knee. And they're going to stop the clock with 18 and a half minutes and call a trainer. Injury timeout with 18:31 to go. Leandro Barrows, so there's the Boxer down. He stepped on the ball and immediately went down. We are all knotted up at 1 goal apiece. And Anatoly Baraziak, the goal scorer for the Eagles. Edson Lopes, the lone Boxer to score, is Barrows jogging under his own power. Always good to see.
Get one here.
Brockton loses their number 2 defender behind Paulo Ramallo. Linehan to throw it in for the Eagles. Very deep throw right into the box and headed wide by the Eagles. But they're going to say off of Brockton, so a corner kick for BC High. First attempt of the night from this particular corner. The kick headed up by Brockton. Now it's 4-on-3 upfield for Brockton. It was Arsenal to the far side. He flipped with Spinola.
Let's go Eagles!
Fired up Eagles fan base making the trip south and east. Push off against the Eagles. Let's go Brockton. The chant from the 5,000 Boxer fans in attendance. As the wind changing directions a little bit, it is now going with the Brockton Boxers. Little chip headed out by Xavier. Nothing better in high school than dueling fan bases. Let's go Boxers, let's go Eagles, the chant from the two student sections. The ball loose. Brockton still with it. Spinola shot just over the top of the crossbar again. Louis Spinola with the last three excellent scoring opportunities for the Boxers. And lest we forget, he assisted on the goal that happened 75 minutes ago. Barros is back in the game. Now the Eagles with it. This is Rainford. Shamar Rainford run into a phantom call against the Boxers.
Eagles!
15 minutes remaining in the second half. Should things hold pat, we will be destined for extra time. But don't say the O word. A shot punched out by Anderson, still loose. The rebound attempt off the post. Doink. Doink goes the BC High Eagles. Anderson punched out the initial shot, and then the rebound attempt went doink off the corner. Doink. Doink is what that was. Right off the post. Brockton is very familiar with hit posts. Was it Durfee? A Saturday afternoon game late in the season. Here's Edson Lopes. He is run into. And a free kick for the Boxers, dead on net from 30 yards out. They're gonna say throw in. The referee who called for the free kick is letting it go. Another MIAA official standing by his initial call. Boxer throwing. Just under 13 minutes to go. We are knotted up at 1 goal apiece. The 2 goal scorers. Barazic for the Eagles. Edson Lopes from Louis Spinola, 55 seconds in. Since then, Spinola has had 3 phenomenal opportunities to put the ball in the back of the net. None have been successful. Anderson's made a good stop. It's going to be a goal kick as BC High's fan base are all wearing striped shirts, and they said it should have been a corner. Hundred or so officials making the trek down from Morrissey Boulevard today. Good to see the MIAA sent in a little bit extra help. Although I will admit the guys actually on the field do need a little bit of help tonight. Whistle stoppage, BC High free kick as Brockton's asking, what are we doing to earn all of these calls? All told, it's about 40 yards off from net with an angle. Direct kick headed out by the Boxers. Got to play off the Eagles. Once again, I'm Mad Dog Matt Nelson, bringing you all the action high atop the turf here. Approximately 42 degrees north latitude. I think it's 72 longitude. The only reason I know the coordinates is because there's a very good restaurant named 42 Degrees North. A free kick, and we're going to have a card here against the Boxers, who are very, very upset at the way this game is being officiated. So which Boxer is it that just earned the yellow card for kicking the ball after the whistle? I can't quite see the number on that far side of the field. So it's a free kick for the Eagles. Decent angle, 25 yards off from net. A low kick broken by the wall of the Brockton Boxers, but straight out of bounds. So a throw-in coming from the far side of the field. Loose, and it's going to go out of play. It'll be a goal kick for the Boxers, Marvin Mocha, to take it. Whistle stoppage, a push against BC High. Why that wasn't ruled advantage and play on, we may never know.
Okay, BC High!
Arsenal from the top rope falling over backwards as he was backpedaling, trying to get his head on that one. Now it's DeRosa, a little bit too far ahead of number 20, Eric Brito. Brito came in to replace the carded Boxer. First yellow card this postseason. Of course, the regular season is when cards really matter. If a team is given 10 yellow cards, they are ineligible for the postseason. Brockton almost ran into trouble with that a few years ago when they had 8 on the year. Throwing Boxers deep in Eagle territory. That's always one of the premier football and basketball matchups. BC High getting the better of the Boxers in those other sports in recent years. Whistle stoppage, another call against Brockton. I wish there were a tally for all the calls, all the whistles, and what they were for. Because when you compare what that would be to the tape, I'd say about 80% of calls against the Boxers tonight have been phantom. And it's not like it's been consistently bad, it's only been against Brockton. This one headed loose, and Brito unable to get there before it goes out of play as we have a substitution coming in for the Eagles. 6:45 left in regulation. We are still knotted at 1 goal apiece. Between the 11th seeded Brockton Boxers, the 10th seeded BC High Eagles. Winner goes on to play Silver Lake slash Wellesley, at Hingham High School on Monday in the South Sectional Final. Here's Eric Brito trying to chip it ahead for Leandro Barros. Now it pops loose. Barros with it. Leandro Barros' shot is caught by Robards, and he holds on. I think the winner of this game would have a distinct advantage in that South Sectional Final because they have 4 days off compared to Silver Lake or Wellesley's 1 full day off. Barros tripping over the ball, and he's a little bit ginger to get up again, holding his left knee. Now Mocha hesitating. Estevan Gomes lets it roll right through to Edson Lopes. Lopes being assaulted on the far side of the field. Boxer throwing with 5.5 to go. This is Linehan taking over for the Eagles. He is brought down from behind. And a free kick for the Eagles. That's going to be offsides on Rainford. It's headed wide in a goal kick. I mean, Rainford was 5 yards behind the entire Boxer back line when that free kick was put into play. How that was not whistled offsides, we may never know. Don't hold your breath. We're in the final 5 with 4:20 remaining. There's a conference or something going on just left of the Boxers' net. There's a BC High player down. They're going to stop the clock. And another injury timeout. 4:20 to go, all knotted up at 1 goal apiece. The BC High goal scorer, Anatoly Baraziak. For the Boxers, it was Edson Lopes, assisted by Louis Spinola. Spinola since then has tried to spark the Boxers' offense. He's got 3 excellent shots on net that have been just over the crossbar. The injured Eagle is Osa Owens, who has had a pretty big impact for the Eagles tonight. Short kick intercepted by Gabe Pache. His shot is going to go high off of the defensive line of the Plymouth North Eagles behind the net in a goal kick for the Boxers. It is now 38 degrees with some pretty decent wind coming across the field. Nothing like a nice refreshing sea breeze in the middle of November. Although remember, folks, for those who are regular viewers of Brockton Community Access, these two teams played in football a couple of years ago in the MIAA playoffs at BC High on Morrissey Boulevard, which is right on the water. And it was snowing, sleeting, disgusting, 10 degrees outside. As Brockton's going to have a corner kick. The fan base thought it was going to be a free kick. Would have been close to the end of the goalie box. So that takes the cake as the worst weather we've ever recorded. And of course there were no seats left in the press box for the Brockton crew. So this is beach weather compared to that. A low kick might have hit the outside of the head. There's a pile up in the box. Lopes runs into two Eagles and BC High able to clear it towards midfield. Mocha gets run into, and that's a knee-on-knee hit. Marvin Mocha is down with 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go. He took a straight BC High Eagle leg to his kneecap. And other than a free kick, there is no harm, no foul for the Eagles. 2 minutes to go, official time kept on the field. If we are scoreless at the end of the next 2 minutes, I mean, the word was already uttered once today. Thank you, Phil. So it still counts a shot, and it's going to go just wide. Leonardo Teixeira turning and firing. But it's going to be a corner kick for the Boxers. About 1 minute and 30 seconds to go. Jalen DeRosa from the far side. It's winning time for the Boxers in the MIAA South Sectional semifinal, trying to take down the 10th seeded BC High Eagles. DeRosa's kick low, headed out. And Spinola catching up with it. Out of play off of BC High. Brockton throw-in. Now about 60 ticks to go. All tied up at 1. A deep throw over the head of any boxer that might have been in the area. Now over the back, not called. BC High takes over. And this one sent out by Brockton. Eagle throw and Linehan to take it. Looking for some help. He's got nobody. Trying to play the clock game, get it in so a potential goal would come sooner than later. The Brockton kick is up over the net. The whistles blow and we are headed for overtime, all knotted up at 1 goal apiece. The 10th seeded BC High Eagles, the 11th seeded Brockton Boxers. We're going to take a quick breather and then bring you sudden victory overtime right after this.
Get caught buzz driving, and you could do some hard time.
Craig, knock it off.
Sorry, Mom.
It could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And that could set you back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Good morning.
morning. Hope you all had a good weekend and are ready to be inspired. One quick thing I want to remind you guys to be studying.
Major key alert. Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Class, today we're talking about inspirational quotes.
You want to get that paper? You better turn in that paper and get an A+. That's a major key. Another one. Mogul talk. You want to reach the mountaintop? You got to go hard. To succeed, you have to believe. Stay focused. Fly higher than the eagle. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote from recent history?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
We are underway in overtime. 10 minutes on the clock. Sudden victory because we couldn't say sudden death because it's not politically correct. The Eagles, the Boxers. Next goal is the winner to send their respective team to the South Sectional final, on Monday afternoon at Hingham High School. Should it be the Boxers, we'll have that for you on Brockton Community Access. The goal scorers, Baraziak for the Eagles. Edson Lopes for the Boxers. He was assisted by Louis Spinola, who has done his best to try to prevent this overtime from happening. Unsuccessful in that effort. The Boxers wearing their visiting white jerseys, the Eagles in their home maroon jerseys. Once again, I'm Mad Dog Matt Nelson. Bring you all the action high atop the turf here at Plymouth North High School. Whistle stoppage, Boxer down, and the Eagles get a free kick out of it. If you are just joining us, the referees have been horribly inconsistent in the way they call this game. So it'll be a free kick from exactly 50 yards out from net. For the Eagles, it looks like they're going to opt to go short here. Short and wide, the official call. Now a long attempt could be trouble. Anderson grabs it. Seth Anderson has been a rock these playoffs for the Boxers. And it was just tonight in the third round, the third game. And there's opportunity for the Boxers. Lopes assaulted from behind, and there's going to be a call against BCI. So the Boxers tonight in the third game of the MIAA South Sectional Playoffs allowed their first goal. That's a testament to defense and excellent goaltending. So free kick for the Boxers. This could be the game. Is that Jalen DeRosa taking it for the Boxers? DeRosa from about 25 yards out from net. His direct kick easily handled by Robards. Now it's Osa Owens and Rainford creating trouble for the Eagles. This one trickles out of bounds. It'll be an Eagle throw-in. Much to the chagrin of number 6 of the Boxers, Felipe Pinto. Jack Linehan to put this one in play for the Boston College High School Eagles. Headed straight up, loose, a shot, headed down, and Anderson dives on it. Best opportunity of the night for the BC High Eagles. We remain knotted at 1. Number 9 throwing this one in, that's Tyelson Gomes. He's going to defer to Jalen DeRosa. DeRosa screaming for some assistance here. No boxers moving towards the ball. And now BC High with an opportunity. It's 4-on-3 up turf. A whistle stoppage. Free kick for the Eagles from the 45-yard line. A handball called against Brockton at the 45-yard line. 5.5 to go in the first overtime period. One of 2 potential overtime periods. After that, we'll go to penalty kicks. Brendan Kennedy putting this one in play. Headed down, loose, and Brockton clears out. Now the Boxers with an opportunity. It was Gomes who couldn't catch up to it. Play on is the call from the official. Now it's Tyelson Gomes, can't corral it. 4:45 to go in an action-packed overtime period. Tyelson Gomes for the Boxers. His cross is broken up by the Eagles, who then send it back towards midfield. Now it's Luis Spinola, pushed from behind. You gotta call that. The referees have been horribly inconsistent in the way they're calling this game, as Brockton's defense wins the foot race. Gomes bumped from behind, no whistle. He chips it ahead looking for Leonardo Teixeira, doesn't connect. Rainford's going to draw a call from 50 yards away. They blew that whistle. A free kick for the Eagles from the 25-yard line. It's about 40 yards out from net with the angle. Kennedy to take it for the Eagles. Direct on. And it's going to go in. BC High wins in sudden death overtime. And the Boxers have been eliminated from playoff contention on a call that should have never been made. And the Boxers' title defense comes to an end. Here at Plymouth North High School with 3:26 remaining in the overtime period. The Eagles get the victory 2-1, your final score. Brendan Kennedy off of the free kick is your game winner.
BC High will play in the finals on Monday at Hingham, time to be determined versus either Silver Lake or Wellesley. Congratulations to both teams on the good season.
So BC High gets the victory here in overtime. In the South Sectional semifinal, Brockton eliminated. You can see the dejected players on the field, their title defense coming to an end, and what a run of success it has been for these seniors, getting to the state semifinal in what would have been their first season, and then in their third season, their junior year, getting all the way to the state championship. Seth Anderson, Leandro De Barros, Justin Robelo, Paulo Ramallo, Felipe Pinto, Esteban Gomes, Tyelson Gomes, Edson Lopes, the senior captain, Leonardo Teixeira, Kevin Diaz, Marvin Dure, Luisandro Andrade, Keon Andrade, Cleve honor all of the seniors on this boxer squad, ending their high school careers in heartbreaking fashion here at Plymouth North High School, short of their goal of the state tournament. Seniors, thank you for your dedicated service and for a very entertaining run of success. Last year's state title, this year falling a game shy of making the state tournament. The final from Plymouth North High School, 2-1. The Boston College High School Eagles defeating the Brockton Boxers. Brendan Kennedy is your game winner from 50 yards out. And for everyone here at Brockton Community Access, our cameraman, the Greek freak, Phil Philippidis, I'm Mad Dog Matt Nelson, and we will see you next season.